Hello, and welcome to RichieNicks. This is part 2 of my first episode of my new podcast, which I am lamely calling Movie Talks. It's a series of podcasts with guests in which we discuss movies. Today our topic is favorite movie horror tropes. It comes from a list of things ranging from vampire to killer robots. I am joined by my friend Jake DiGregorio of Streetlight Productions. You may remember him from RichieNicks Gaming's video games discussions. So a couple rules with the list. You cannot choose the original form of the trope, like Dracula for vampire. And rule number 2, it doesn't actually have to be from a horror movie. It can be from video games, TV shows, it can be from comedies, it can be from dramas, etc. All right, so let's just jump back into the list. Like I said, it's part 2, so if you haven't seen part 1, it's linked, so go check that out first before you continue. Moving right along, chug-a-chug, chug-a-chug.
Yeah.
We were about to say ghost?
Ooh, ghost, alright.
Alright, Katie wrote stuff, but crossed it out. She said, never mind, it's really Ghost Shark from Ghost Shark. Because again, Katie likes really terrible movies. So the concept is that this ghost of a shark can show up anywhere there's water, including rain.
Your sink.
In puddles. Yeah, your sink. So yeah, ghost shark.
Okay.
That would be scary, but like, why would a shark really be like hunting people like that?
Yeah.
Ghost Hamlet's dad. That's Peter's answer.
Claudius? No, that's the uncle.
He's never named in Hamlet. He's just his father.
The king. Okay.
In the portrayal that I played that character in a modernized short film, and we named him Hamilton, so that it was like close to Hamlet, like he would reasonably be named similarly if he needed to be given a name. So,
No doubt.
all right, let's see what the others. For Ghost, Drew from the D&D group just said Ghostbusters in general.
Okay. I'm going to say Slimer as a go-to, or the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Is he? He's not a ghost.
No, he's
just like a
avatar of someone else's
sphere.
Yeah.
Lance said Casper or Beetlejuice.
Okay. I've always liked Beetlejuice.
Oh, I love Michael Keaton. I love Beetlejuice and Michael Keaton's Batman movies.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I grew up with those. I love, like, that's definitely one of those movies where I really only like Beetlejuice because of Michael Keaton and Danny Elfman.
Mm.
I grew up...
Everybody else is kind of...
I grew up with a very different image of that movie than what it actually is. Like, if I were to force myself to have, like, the childhood memory of that movie, it would be a very inaccurate description of that movie.
Yeah.
Because of my focus on Beetlejuice.
Right.
And the music. And he only appears in, like, 18 minutes of that movie.
Yes, I think it's less than 15.
I heard recently it was 17 and a half.
Okay. Yeah, that's a big point of contention, him being the name of the movie at all.
Right. Ben said the guy from Ghost, Sam. You've never seen Ghost?
Swayze, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
100%.
No, I grew up with a mom who loved that shit, so I saw that.
I think we all did.
more than
I just never saw
more
it.
than I wanted to. Whoa, my love, my darling, a hunger for your touch.
Yeah, I think everyone's mom loved that.
The ghosts, the scene from Ghost, the pottery scene. Everybody knows that. Jessica said the Ghost of Christmas Present.
Oh no. Okay. We're leading up to me now because I said.
All right, hold on. Don't say what you said. We're not done.
All right.
We are leading up to you. Let it continue.
Sorry.
Shame. Ring. Shame. John said the main character from Ghost because he loves that movie.
Okay.
Second, if you had to choose someone else, it would be the Flying Dutchman from SpongeBob. It's a really good answer.
Yeah.
Nearly Headless Nick. Troy says Nearly Headless Nick from Harry Potter.
Interesting.
Serta said Beetlejuice.
Okay.
Your answer.
I said the Ghost of Christmas Future. I believe.
You phrased it yet to come. But,
Oh, sorry.
like, he freaked me out, like,
He makes a lot of ghost females feel unattractive.
I remember, like, so my first experience with the story is the Mickey version. And I remember all of Pete's cigar smoke, like, freaked me out with, like, the fire behind it.
Oh, yeah. I barely remember that.
And then, really all I remember about that movie is that Goofy is Marley and Pete goes to the future. And then in like most portrayals, he's basically just death. And he just goes around silently pointing at stuff. So like he's creepy. And he's also the example I always point to when people are in the most wonderful time of the year. People are like, "What ghost stories? It's Christmas." I'm like,
"That's the
Christmas
one.
Carol."
But you did say stories. And I can only think of one.
And
which okay, so that song was written, as my Jewish roommate likes to point out, by a Jew. He's like, "We were all your fucking carols. We were all of them." I'm like, "You're damn right, because most wonderful time of the year has no goddamn clue what happens on Christmas." We tell ghost stories. Yeah, sure. That's the other one, stupid. That's Halloween. But sure.
Mine is Beetlejuice, and my reasoning was he's the ghost with the most.
That's true. He is.
It's showtime.
It's showtime.
I love when Alec Baldwin was holding him, and then he turns pointy, and he drops him. And he just stays pointy. I love that movie. And I love Michael Keaton. Mm. All right, so next is The Devil.
This is number 6, right?
This is number 7.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right. Which devil? Okay, so a devil or the devil himself.
Peter said Meryl Streep in Devil Wears Prada.
That's metaphorical, Pete. You
yes,
use
Pete.
That one.
I also shake my head at that answer. Katie said the devil in... the robot devil. Futurama.
That's a good one.
That is a good one. He's very funny. Mm. He's kind of like he kind of sounds like so he's voiced by the guy who does Homer Simpson and stuff.
Okay.
And he kind of sounds like his impression of Vincent Price.
Oh yeah. You can't just have characters announce how they feel.
That makes me feel mad.
That makes me feel angry.
He's so good.
Yeah.
All right, when they challenge him to like the fiddle contest, and he takes out a bunch of extra arms and just rips on the fiddle, and then Leela takes it and just hits him over the head with it because it's incredibly heavy, because it's made of solid gold. Yeah. He's just constantly leading his band. He does like that whole song with Bender and then like tries to do it again. And he's like, no. And then like literally like seasons later, like they just like fall into hell while he's in the middle of rehearsal with his band. Like it's just what he does.
Yeah, the robot hell song.
All right, so that's a good answer, Katie.
Yeah.
Let's see. Drew said his answer, he actually admits, is a demon, not a devil.
Okay.
He says it's Lo, just L-O, and I have no idea what it's from. He doesn't say, but it's a demon.
Okay.
Lance says Clarence Williams III from Tales from the Hood.
I've actually seen Tales from the Hood.
Oh,
I can't remember any of it.
Oh. 1995 movie horror anthology. Is it supposed to be taken seriously?
No, it's a comedy.
Okay.
I don't know why it's called a horror anthology. It's closest to the Eddie Murphy vampire movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh,
let me look at those pictures.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Look at him.
Yeah.
Okay. Ben says.
Interesting.
Actually, I can't read his handwriting, and I don't. The guy from Spawn, the devil in Spawn.
Oh, okay. All right.
What do they call him? I can't read his handwriting.
Malabolja.
Yeah, there's an I in there.
Okay.
Again, I saw Spawn as a kid. I haven't seen it as an adult. I don't, and I'm not a comic book reader. I think I've only read Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man comics. Excluding popular graphic novels like The Walking Dead and stuff.
Right.
I don't count those. And, Jessica says Jack Nicholson in Witches of Eastwick. You've never seen that?
Never.
Oh, wow. That's one that you should probably watch. It has been remade. I can't remember if as a movie or a TV show. It's a 1987 movie starring Jack Nicholson, Michelle Pfeiffer, Cher, Susan Sarandon.
Oh, I'm sold. Okay.
Yeah, it's a good movie. So he's the devil, and they're in like this polyamorous relationship with him, so that they can learn how to be like witches or whatever.
Okay.
Like so they get powers because they're studying.
How do I apply for this job? I'm sorry, Cher, Michelle Pfeiffer, and Susan Sarandon.
You need to be the fucking devil. That's how.
All right, good. So I already meet the requirements. Sign me up.
But yeah, I think that's a good answer. I like that movie. Devil, South Park, or Futurama. That's John says South Park or Futurama.
The South Park one's a good one. I love when he like shows up to say and he's like, "Let me show you the means of human addiction." And then Smash cuts to him like, "So that releases like dopamine in your system, right? And that's like the happy chemicals. So what happens is you got to binge on that." He like just actually goes into an explanation of it. He's like, "Do you want to know more?" And Stan's like, "Yeah, they're really helpful. Please keep going." Like, okay, I'm gonna pull up a few charts for you then.
It's really
That's
informative.
my favorite moment. In South Park.
Troy says Lucifer in Little Nicky.
It's only a matter of time before someone unironically brought up an Adam Sandler reference.
Serta says Lucifer the TV show. My mom's been watching that on Netflix.
I was going to say, it's more middle-aged woman material.
And now your answer.
It's the best one.
Dave Grohl.
Yeah, he is the devil in the Tenacious D video, the original tribute video, and he's in the movie.
I am complete.
No. We're talking before that. He was the devil in the original tribute video from like the early 2000s.
No, really.
Like,
I haven't seen that.
play the best song in the world. That's Dave Grohl.
Oh.
No one knew it was him at that point, and then he reprised the role for the movie. But yeah, he is the one who. I mean, technically, he is totally a devil, but in the song they say, "There shined a shiny demon in the middle of the road." That's him.
And he said.
See, that's totally. They don't say it's him, but I think he's uncredited too, but it is him. And they just brought him back for the movie.
I have his song. I have both tribute and his song in the movie, the Beelzebub, on that playlist.
You never seen this video?
Like back in 2010.
Right. Way back.
Recording studio where we're gonna record our album? It's a studio. It says it on the door.
You remember this?
Yeah, vaguely. Literally just like a fucking handkerchief on a stick.
It's called a bingle.
Thanks. I knew it had a name, I couldn't remember it. Oh yeah, they like literally made him look the same.
Yeah. The most pedestrian sounding demon.
And we each said.
Okay. That's enough.
That is Dave Grohl.
Yeah, and
it's
then
been Dave Grohl since the song had a video.
I also said Jack Nicholson from Witches in Eastwick is my earnest answer, and then Elizabeth Hurley in that Brendan Fraser movie because Elizabeth Hurley is hot. Man.
What movie?
I actually forget what it's called. Bedazzled.
Oh, yeah.
2000. But yeah.
Before.
Yeah, like, how could you not?
Oh my, that is. If the devil's whole thing is temptation,
right?
Then square.
This is
on.
yeah. Thank you. This is my favorite devil. Thank you very much. Witch. Katie says Sabrina from Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Fair enough.
Peter says Mary Sanderson from Hocus Pocus. She's Bette Midler.
Yeah. The main one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's fair.
If I had to choose a Hocus Pocus one, though, I'd choose Sarah Jessica Parker's Witch.
Oh, I'd definitely pick Mary Anderson.
Ben says the Queen from Willow. You know the movie Willow?
Yeah. I'm aware.
The Queen, the evil queen from that.
Okay.
Nancy from The Craft.
I know The Craft. Yeah. Okay.
We are the weirdos, mister, is the quote that she put with it.
So is Nancy like the one who becomes the bad guy by the end of the movie? Is she the one who's in charge?
I'm going to assume yes.
I believe that's who that is. Not like the main.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look how crazy she is.
Yeah. Very good at it.
Hot crazy.
Yeah.
John asks if the girl from Witch spelled with 2 V's. You know that movie?
I've heard of it.
I've heard of it. I've seen it on like countdown videos, but I haven't seen it.
No.
Troy says Agatha Cromwell. She's the witch in the Discworld.
Oh yeah, I remember that. That's pretty obscure, but okay.
It is obscure. Let's see. Serta says Hocus Pocus.
Yeah, of course.
And you said
I forget.
Twin Rova.
Oh, okay. Here's the Zelda coming in.
Yeah.
They're the 2 witches who are basically the surrogate mothers of Ganondorf.
Oh, okay. That makes total sense.
Yeah, and one's like, the cool thing about them is that there's like one fire one and one ice one, and they ride on like a fire broomstick and an ice broomstick, respectively. And then for their final attack, they combine and become one.
Water.
No, they become one witch, but it's a giant witch twice their size. And so they become one witch, but now instead of riding the broomsticks, she's dual wielding the fire and ice broomsticks.
Oh, okay. They become
dope.
like wands.
Right, exactly. So that's pretty dope. It's a really easy boss, but
If I had been a Zelda player growing up, that sounds like that would have ended up being my answer.
oh yeah,
Most of my experiences with witches come from things that my sisters are interested, like Sabrina and the Craft and stuff like that. And as a brother and a young boy,
oh boy,
obviously I pretty much dislike everything automatically that they like.
right. So what did you choose? You chose someone hot, right?
No, I chose Maleficent.
Could be argued.
I haven't seen the Angelina Jolie stuff.
Yeah,
I'm basing it on the cartoon, and as James points out in Cinemassacre, she turns into a dragon.
Yeah, that's true.
That's fucking badass.
Yeah.
And dragons are awesome.
Yeah.
So, she's a cool witch. Although she's a bitch.
She says hell, too. She says hell in a Disney movie.
Oh, cool. That just makes her cooler.
She actually says that. That is the last word she says before she becomes a dragon.
Oh, that's awesome.
And all the powers of hell becomes a dragon.
And then she becomes a fire-breathing dragon. That's fucking awesome.
That's pretty good.
Peter for doll says Annabelle. I, for obvious reasons, have not seen it, but I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's one of those ones that I'm actually tempted, but she is very much the kind of doll that would give me nightmares.
Yeah.
Like physically. They're like, no thank you. Katie asked if Slappy from Night of the Living Dummy counts.
Yeah,
absolutely counts.
Yeah, that was like some of our first. For those of us who were too young to see Chucky, Slappy was our Chucky.
Mm-hmm. Killer Doll entire Puppet Master set.
Not familiar.
Puppet Master.
I do know the third Puppet Master movie stars the guy who was Mark on The Room.
Oh no!
Yeah, yeah, the guy who was like the blonde guy.
Oh, hi, Mark.
Yeah, the other guy. Oh, hey, Johnny. That guy. He was the third
No,
Puppet
I know.
Master,
Yeah. And then Lance says Puppet Master as well.
Okay.
Popular with the D&D guys.
Yeah.
Ben says Scarface from Batman.
Okay. Yeah, the ventriloquist dummy. Yeah.
Jessica says the clown doll in Poltergeist. Although technically that would be a ghost.
Yeah, that's the ghost.
But,
sorry, Jess.
But that part is the only part of that movie that freaks me out. John says, yes, Chucky. Special shout out to the doll from Saw, though.
That's the problem, is Chucky is like the number one here.
Yeah.
You know?
And he is absolutely the most iconic still to this day.
No doubt.
They even had a remake with Mark Hamill voicing him.
And it didn't, not as good as the original.
It's on Hulu. I mean, like I wasn't saying I don't know. I saw the original movie at such a young age and was so traumatized that I literally do not remember watching it when I watched it.
My brother is in the same exact ballpark. He's like, I can't watch that movie.
Yeah, and so I have my literal only fear. I have a discomfort with heights for I guess technically I have a fear of falling from heights. I'm fine with heights. It's
so are most people.
It's like feeling. It's the feel. I'm fine if I know that I'm like strapped into something.
Right.
Like I love roller coasters. I like rock climbing and stuff.
True.
If I know I'm safe, I got no problem with heights. It's once I feel unsafe, it's the fear of falling. Like it's not just being up high. Like I don't get vertigo from that. Stop doing that.
Sorry.
But yeah, and then Saw. I mean, that thing is creepy.
Yeah.
Kip Killigan.
Who?
Kip Killigan. That is Troy's answer.
Of course.
Small Soldiers, the leader of the bad guys. Small
Oh, yeah,
Soldiers.
yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one.
I don't think Serta gave me an answer. I don't think I've ever watched anything with a killer doll.
Yeah, of course,
I doubt that, actually.
Yeah, I doubt it. A lot.
he's like your age, so like he's definitely seen Goosebumps.
Yeah.
Like
Slappy, Chucky, Kip Killigan even.
Right. Let's see. Where is? Oh, now we're on you. What was your answer? It was the spider,
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Erector set.
Honestly, any
Spider
of
Baby.
Sid's creations from the first Toy Story
Yeah.
were out of place creepy.
Yep.
Because when you're watching that movie as a kid in 1996 for the first time, the first 3D animation thing ever.
Literally.
So you're like, oh my god, this is amazing. And then it's like the critters are like, we can also do this. And you're like, no, go back to normal 2D. Like, it was very scary for us to suddenly be in this world of new animation.
Yeah.
We'd never seen it before. having grown up with Looney Tunes until that point, and then to have it be turned on its head to be like, we can also scar you for life. Oh,
Yeah, right.
thank you.
My answer was obviously Chucky.
Mm.
Like, he's literally the reason why dolls are my fear. So I can't give it to literally anyone else but him.
Mm.
All right, so creepy kid. Katie says the Shining twins.
Okay, that's up there with like the number one choice.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Peter says Charlie from Hereditary. Did you ever see Hereditary? That's a recent one.
Mm.
Drew said The Ring, the girl in the ring.
That's like the other number one. You know.
Lance says The Silent Hill Girl, the game, not the movie.
Okay. Yeah.
These
are all like, they're all kind of the same character, really.
Yeah. Ben said Sid himself from Toy Story is the creepy.
Fair.
Fun fact, he's voiced by the main character from Brink, like the jock guy from the Princess Diaries series. Yeah. That's him. Even in the new ones, they got him to come back in just when he's the trash guy, like singing. Yeah. Wednesday Addams is Jessica's answer.
That's a good one.
It is a good answer. John says, creepy kid, antagonist from Killing of a Sacred Deer. Not sure of his name or if he's young enough. Also, probably recency bias here, but I loved Flora from Haunting of Bly Manor, which just came out on Netflix. Like literally, came out on Netflix.
Interesting.
Troy says Henry Evans.
That's okay.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Henry Evans. I don't like that he didn't give any explanations.
Is that Macaulay Culkin?
That's Macaulay fucking Culkin. What? He's the main antagonist in The Good Son.
This reminds me, someone should have said the girl from The Bad Seed.
I don't know that.
Okay. It's one of the most famous movies ever. It's this little girl who's like pure evil.
See, this is probably what I would call Origin.
Yeah. It's probably the closest thing we have to Origin of like the evil child.
So, let's see. Serta said the twins from The Shining.
Of course.
And then you said...
I forget all my answers. Cause
the daughter from Don't Look Now.
That is... oh, wow. That's the best answer. And honestly, Rich, I would like to Google this real quick and then not say a word because this is kind of a spoiler, actually.
Oh, yes.
Are you familiar
I've
with
seen this. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's very disturbing and terrifying.
And yes, I remember, I watched this because it was on some...
Right. You only ever no one ever looks for this movie.
I know, I explicitly looked for it because it was on a list of, top horror movies. Right. And I was trying to watch a horror movie every day in October one year.
Right.
And so I watched this, and I remember... And this was before, Google gave you answers right away. Mm-hmm. And you actually had to do digging for stuff, and you couldn't believe Wikipedia.
Right.
I remember watching it and being like, I just don't get it. And not to spoil it because...
Right.
It's literally within the last, couple minutes of the movie.
Yeah, nothing scary happens until the last couple minutes. Everything's, creepy and unsettling. But
unsettling is what, yes. Fine. And especially if you're paying attention and letting the music sweep you through the movie, too.
Right.
It's very unsettling. Yeah. It's very just what?
It's almost boring. It's
almost boring. But then it gets to the end, and I just remember being I was shocked. I was creeped out.
Right. As soon as it turns around, you're like, what the fuck?
I was shocked. Creeped out beyond reason.
Yeah.
And then it ends and I'm like, so what did it all mean?
It really has. I gotta admit, there is no other feeling like what you feel when that happens. It's so surprising and disturbing.
Yep. So yes, Don't Look Now. What is it? It's Donald Sutherland.
Yep.
Sutherland.
Yeah. He
was great for 70s horror.
Yeah.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Yeah. The famous meme picture.
All right, so that was your answer, and it's a very good one that I had completely forgotten about.
I think I win this round. I know there's no winners and losers here, but I think I win this round.
I think you do. I said Gage from Pet Sematary, the little boy that dies. He gets hit by a truck, and they bury him in Pet Sematary, and he comes back evil, and he tries to kill everybody.
Okay.
I saw that movie as a kid, and he was so small, and he wielded stabby weapons.
Okay.
It just reminded me too much of Chucky.
Yeah.
So Pet Sematary is in my head a scarier movie than it actually is.
Got it. Because of personal relation.
Yes, exactly. All right. So then, Space Monster. Peter says The Thing. I'm assuming he means the original Thing.
Oh, he's got it.
Awesome. If you haven't seen the 80s The Thing, you need to see The Thing. It's really, really good.
I've never seen anything after the 80s, but I hear they all pick up right after the other one left.
The other one is the newest one, like the two that
Yeah.
I think it came out when I lived in Milford. It's a prequel. It's the you remember in the original Thing.
It starts with a dog.
It starts with the dog, and then they go.
The prequel ends with a dog.
Yes,
Something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They go and find that other scientist station where all the foreign guys were.
Right.
It's that story.
Yeah,
They're the ones who actually uncover it.
Yeah.
I also have seen bits and pieces and lots of reviews of the original, like The Thing from Outer Space. Like, it's like based on the same written story.
Okay.
And it has a lot of the same plot things.
Okay.
I hear really good things about it. It's like a black and white movie that I need to watch.
Yeah, I hear they're all very closely related.
Katie says E.T. for obvious reasons that we were just talking about.
She's actually scared of E.T.
My younger sister had, I have an irrational fear of dolls. My younger sister has an irrational fear of the alien E.T. from the movie E.T. I used to, as an evil older brother, used it to my advantage a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But she also says, and the Body Snatchers from the Invasion of the Body Snatchers, because that is creepy.
Yeah.
Like, it's basically a combination of aliens and zombies. And like that hive mind concept, like they touch on it in Rick and Morty. It can be creepy. Like that is a horror trope when it's happening to you. He, remember what? I forget what season it is, but he like dates a hive mind entity.
Oh yeah. The Christina Hendricks character. Yeah.
Space Monster Ben says Sinova. Final Fantasy VII.
Genova?
It looks like an S to me.
That I think is Genova. Genova's like.
Is it a J then?
Genova's like. I don't even know Final Fantasy VII that well, but I know the name Genova. She's sort of like the space.
Oh, it's a J. That's why it looks like an S. Okay. I'm not seeing a whole lot.
I unfortunately don't know much about her. I know she's like an evil space Eve.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I don't know Final Fantasy. She looks creepy. That's pretty cool.
And she's like who Sephiroth is like trying to get back to or something.
Oh, okay. I know the name Sephiroth. Yeah, I know. Sorry. I disappoint a lot of my friends from like the Quixotic group and everything, and like Ronnie and all of them. Oh, like I was never into Final Fantasy. Yeah. I've watched people play some of it. Right. I do not know any stories in full.
Everyone knows Sephiroth is though.
Yeah, big sword. Creepy kid. What is she? Oh. Jessica put the things in The Faculty.
That's new.
I don't know what The Faculty is.
I don't know either.
John, Space Monster. The monsters from Space Jam, hands down.
The Monstars. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Let's see. Troy put the Reavers in Serenity.
Okay. That's a Troy answer.
Serta put aliens. Like
Xenomorphs.
Xenomorphs,
okay.
Yeah. He also said, unless that's the most iconic, which I would say, I don't know. I've been thinking that like the Blob and stuff I count as like the originals.
Yeah, the Blob
put to screen. So that's what and it's still like an iconic, like at least to make fun of.
Right.
Like
it
thing.
Came from outer space.
Right. Yeah. The Day the Earth Stood Still. There are a lot of 50s that came out at like around the same time.
Right.
A lot of 40s, 50s. That would be that. So I accept the answer that he gave of Alien, because that's fun fact that I'm assuming most people know is that in the first movie Alien, when the thing bursts from him, he and the crew were the only ones aware of what would happen. Yeah. All the other actors were completely caught by surprise, and like the women are like screaming and crying. Yeah. It's like those are genuine reactions to body horror, and it's awesome. Like, it's awesome.
What do they think was going to happen? What were they told was going to happen?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Because they couldn't have been like, for the surprise. They had to like think something else was going to happen.
Maybe that like he's going to die.
Yeah.
Maybe that's all that, like, he just like, I'd be screaming in pain and then he'd just die. But no, fucking something pops right the fuck out of his chest. It's that's so great. Cool.
Yeah.
It's really cool. And then your answer were the aliens from The Simpsons.
Kang and Kodos. Yes.
Don't look at me. I voted for Kodos.
Yeah. they are synonymous with Treehouse of Horror. They really are. So I think they make the list. Even as comedic characters, like,
right.
They're great.
I put The Thing from the 80s. It's Kurt Russell, right?
Yeah.
But
And
I
a
also,
year later, he would go on to play the Hound in Fox and the Hound. No joke.
now I'm sad.
Yeah.
All I have to say is Fox and the Hound, and it makes me sad.
You're not the only one.
I'll be your friend forever, too, Todd.
Yeah, like
Ugh.
that. Yeah.
Damn it. The book's even sadder.
Oh, no, I have no doubt.
Like, everybody dies. But I also... James brought up King Ghidorah.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a space monster.
And if you had asked me this question when I was a child, I would have been like, King Ghidorah.
King Ghidorah.
King Ghidorah is the coolest thing in the world. Like,
Yeah.
King Ghidorah is cooler than Godzilla.
Yeah.
So, I'm glad they made him a decent bad guy in King of the Monsters. Even if the effects weren't good enough. Psychopath. Katie says...
I feel like we're getting a lot of the same answers here.
Katie says Dr. Oliver Thredson from American Horror Story Asylum. He could have been counted as a mad scientist if he's a doctor, but apparently he's I only watched the first season of American Horror Story.
Yeah, and every season's different, so...
So I don't know who Dr. Oliver Thredson is, so I can't really comment on him. Peter says Jack from The Shining.
Yeah, that's a pretty obvious one.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Norman Bates is the number one here.
Yeah, he's basically the original.
Yeah.
Drew from the D&D group said Hannibal, the TV
Okay.
series specifically.
Okay.
Lance said Kevin Spacey in Seven.
That's a good one because they didn't even credit him in the commercials. People didn't let people know that Kevin Spacey was in the movie. He surprised all the audiences.
That's a good movie in general, even if you can pick the plot apart.
Indeed, yeah.
Dexter Morgan. Ben says Dexter.
And another HBO one.
Jessica says Michael Myers.
Okay. 2 Ed Gein inspired characters so far. Well, no, sorry. No, just him. And Norman Bates, no one said, so.
I like, the origins of Michael Myers was,
Ed
like...
Gein inspired.
Well, it was, like, think of a Psycho sequel, basically.
Oh, okay.
It was, like, the origin of that concept.
Okay. You can also argue Lecter, too, because the cannibalism.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
Yeah.
I wish that movie was scarier, like, but it's a good, like, detective movie.
Silence?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a musical, by the way, called Silence the Musical. Which is a great name for a musical, I'm sorry. Keep going.
John says for horror, Robert De Niro in Cape Fear.
Oh, that's a great choice.
That is a good one.
He wins so far.
Yeah, that's a good one.
If we're ranking, he's the winner so far.
If not horror, then Heath Ledger's Joker. Personally, I think that Heath Ledger's Joker is only on such a high pedestal because Heath Ledger died.
Right.
I still think Mark Hamill Joker is top tier Joker, especially in the video games where he's more violent than in the cartoon.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill's just great.
Yeah.
Troy said Ted Bundy. Well, like, that's an actual
That's
guy.
a real life. That's close to Ed Gein, yeah.
That's an actual person. So that
Sorry,
doesn't,
Troy.
That doesn't count.
Since you seem to idolize him, we're going to put Troy Corhonen as one of them.
Sarah said The Shining.
Okay.
Jack.
Yeah.
You.
I said Lecter again, right?
Yeah. Technically, you said Letter.
Oh.
Several
Letter.
times.
Hannibal
I asked.
Letter.
I was
He
like,
only
Letter?
eats
And you were like...
SpaghettiOs.
I was like, what's Letter? And you were like, Letter. Lecter, damn it.
Yeah, Hannibal Lecter, though. He's awesome.
Yes. Good.
Hello, Clarice.
Yes. And he never actually says that.
I know.
It's one of those, like, misquotes.
It's like the I am your
He
father.
says good evening. He said, like, he does greet her. It's just never hello.
Right.
But the first time they meet, he just stares at her silently. My psychopath was also Jack Torrance from The Shining.
Oh, jeez, you guys disappoint me. Winner is definitely Robert De Niro from Cape Fear.
I've only seen that movie once, but
okay,
excluding like because there's definitely like iconic bias involved in my choice. Like Jack Nicholson's great and everything, but I think The Shining overall is what I would call a scarier movie. Like Cape Fear is a little too psychological and gets physical too late in the game.
Movie, yeah, exactly. Also, since K and Kodos is my previous answer, I almost said Sideshow Bob for this one. Which is funny because the most famous Sideshow Bob episode is a parody of Cape Fear.
Yes, literally. Yep. All right, and then the last one is Killer Robot.
Okay.
All right, so...
It's the last one? Oh, yeah, it is.
Yep, number 13.
Okay.
Killer robot. Katie says the fembots from Austin Powers.
Okay.
These boots are made for walking. That's good.
Yeah, that's a good one.
That's a good answer. Non-horror, but they are killer robots. Peter said Hal from 2001: A Space Odyssey.
I'm going to bookend it right now. That was my answer, too.
Okay.
I think it's a great one. Not if a robot has to be something that, has its own physical form that is human-esque, that it's more of a killer AI.
It is an AI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not the winner if we're ranking them here.
But
It's a great one.
also back then it was 100%. It was either a robot or a spaceship.
Yeah.
They didn't have the terminology for that. That people would have referred to it as a robot. I'm sure.
It is damn scary.
Yeah.
How
can't
coy
do that.
he is.
I'm afraid I can't do that, Dave.
Yeah.
The calmness of the voice, like that's the kind of thing that like escalates it.
Yeah. They're like, I'm a robot. I already know better. So I will say whatever I'm going to say, and it's going to be totally calm.
Drew from the group said either Bicentennial Man. He's not killer.
Yeah.
But, so I guess that is not really an answer. So then he says RoboCop.
Okay, that's a killer robot.
So technically he's a cyborg. Do we want to get real technical?
Yeah, we're in the Dragon Ball Z territory where all the androids, like Android 17, they're cyborgs.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have no real answer yet.
Lance says either Hal from 2001
AI.
or
Come on, a real robot.
I think he's saying I think is it pronounced phonetically Flack from Borderlands?
That's one we should Google because otherwise we're
Okay.
not going to have a real answer.
All right. I just don't know if you knew.
I mean, we have RoboCop.
This is
but
what
he's
it
a
looks
protagonist.
Okay. This is definitely a cyborg as well.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Actually, hold on. I said that a little too prematurely. Underneath all his clothes, he looks like this. So he is a robot.
Okay, that's fair.
I never got into Borderlands. When that became popular, Left 4 Dead was still on the table, and I was straight up addicted to that game, like I said. So.
Yeah, agreed.
All right. So that's that. Now we go.
I had a girlfriend who was into it. It's a very, I guess, gender available game. Borderlands. A lot of people, male or female, are very into that game.
Yeah. Yep. I think in my competitive gaming group, the girl in the group was the person who tried to convince me to play Borderlands.
Exactly. Yeah. No, that's.
Ben says Roy from Blade Runner.
I never saw Blade Runner.
But like it, right? Like that's got to be one of those things that like without seeing. Like he's the one who says like tears and rain.
Yeah.
Which is an improvised line.
I think that's our winner. Honestly, and I feel like it's bad that we haven't voted winners on these because there are some that are so good they deserve to be called better than the rest.
That's true.
And I feel like, can we go back and like look at them real quick?
Let's finish talking about this and then we can do that real quick.
So who's yours? Because you're.
Well, Jessica. So Jessica says robot fembots as well. Okay. And it looks like she might have mistook robot for rabbit because she said Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
That sounds about right. Yeah. Robots.
John initially said pass. Did he follow it up? So he passed on a couple things, and I said, "How do you have passes?" He was like, "I can't think of anything." Lol. I guess for robot, I'd go with Maeve from Westworld, even though Westworld now sucks and Maeve is good, not bad. So.
Okay. Yeah.
I only know of the movie. I haven't watched the HBO Westworld. Let's see. Troy said Starscream.
Oh, Transformer. Yeah.
Transformers. Don't copyright this. And Serta said Terminator 2. I'm assuming the
T-1000, he means?
The liquid one. He's the
1000,
right? Yeah.
That's a pretty good one.
Well, he didn't specify that it's the liquid one, but specifying that it's the second movie is like
he basically means it's T-1000.
That's what he's saying. And then you said Hal.
Yep.
And my initial answer was The Terminator, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Like, that movie reawoke the concept of a robot that's not just like a butler or something. Right. Which had become the trope of robots for a while.
Oh, yeah.
But then, like I was saying before, as I first pulled up, I was listening to my spooky season music playlist, and Still Alive came on.
Oh, GLaDOS.
So GLaDOS is definitely actually my favorite killer robot.
That's a good one.
A lot of people were saying that Arnold Schwarzenegger's Terminator was two of the most iconic. I know it's nowhere near the original or anything, but it is probably the most iconic.
Yeah, I would say. Yeah,
so to exclude that, GLaDOS, because I love those games, I love her songs, and I love her as a character.
Okay, can we name a favorite for this robot category? I think we need to decide between you and me. We can decide winners here
Just between
for the robots.
I think. All right, so I think if we're gonna go broad with it, that Hal is a really good answer.
But it's an AI.
But is an AI.
Yeah.
So
it doesn't have like an anthropological form, so to speak.
Right. So for the follow-up,
I'm really on board for T-1000.
Either I'm gonna say, yeah, probably because I actually remember T2 better than T1.
Yeah, I think that says a lot.
And yeah, exactly.
And then
so,
anything after T2, no one remembers.
Which
says even more.
I literally don't. Like, right. All right. So then
plus, everyone back in the 90s, everyone was using that like metallic, liquid metal thing. That's the Secret of Alex Mack or whatever it's called. Secret Life of this girl could turn into the metal pool liquid thing. Everyone was doing that. Sorry, continue.
You mean Capri Sun?
Yeah, the Capri Sun things too. That's right. every studio that could use that technology was like, we gotta turn people into molten metal.
Right.
We gotta do it.
Silver Surfer them, quick.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. So the best psychopath.
I think the best, excluding the obvious number ones, I think that means you exclude anyone inspired by Ed Gein, which to me means Cape Fear.
It's a really good answer, and since Jack Torrance got the most responses in this, I would say that makes him the most iconic. So then, if you had to choose the one after that, then it would definitely be Cape Fear.
I think so.
And then Space Monster. The Thing got a lot of votes, and I personally it was my personal favorite.
I think The Thing wins.
Yeah, it's like
sorry, Genova.
It's great, like the spider head, and like the chest opening up, and like the dog transforming.
Yeah,
there's a lot.
Plus, when you have an alien that can be any of the other aliens on this list if it wanted to.
Right, like spoiler alert, but like this movie is older than I am.
Yeah.
Like you don't know if they actually win at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
It's left up in the air. So that's awesome. Like all right, so then going back, sorry, I have to keep changing. Space Monster, then Creepy Kid.
Ooh. All right, I liked all of the choices for this.
Shining Twins,
Hereditary. I feel bad because I don't know some of them.
Yeah, I think the Shining Twins got like the big answers here.
And they because I would. Who is the original? Who's the number one? Not allowed to pick it.
The Creepy Kid, that one that you pointed out.
I think it's the Bad Seed. I think it's the Bad Seed movie.
Yeah.
Even if no one knows it, that's the number one. So
yeah.
I think we can give the twins the win here.
Troy also said that like for witches he almost chose Professor McGonagall, but he actually expected that to be a common answer, and literally no one said it.
Yeah. All right, so we got.
Okay. Yep. So yeah, I would say the twins win that.
Okay.
Then Doll.
Oh, okay. So Chucky's the number one.
Yeah, and so like my personal self aside, addressing that he's definitely like the still modern iconic.
Yeah.
Moving on, anything with a dummy. Dummies are like creepy as fuck. There was that movie like Dead Silent.
But we gotta pick one. So I would pick Slappy because Slappy almost personified all of Goosebumps for a while. It was the Night of the Living Dummy and Monster Blood, and those were the two big ones.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember having nightmares after Night of the Living Dummy 3.
Yeah.
All right, so then Witch.
Who are the choices?
We've got like Hocus Pocus.
Okay.
We've got Sabrina the Teenage Witch. That movie Witch spelled with 2 V's. The Craft. Willow. I put Maleficent. Whatever. It's a hard. That's a hard word because it's not a real one.
Yeah. What did I put? I didn't pick it. Oh, I picked Twin Rova. But they're not like witches. They're like video game witches. I would say the best witches here. It's hard to argue with Bette Midler. It really is. I know it's the cliche answer.
Say Hocus Pocus in general then, because I wouldn't choose Bette Midler.
Over Sarah
Jessica Parker. I forget.
Okay.
I think her name is also Sarah in the movie, by the way.
I believe it is. Yeah. I think it is. Yeah.
All right. So then, Devil.
Favorite Simpsons lines of all time is the Treehouse of Horror where Marge is a witch, and Quimby is about to burn them all at the stake. And Quimby says, "You are to all be burned at the stake until you are deemed fit to re-enter society." Just like one of my favorite lines ever.
Not to death, but deemed fit to rejoin society. I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Devil.
Okay, we better go through the list again.
Robot devil.
Okay. It's funny because, obviously the only devil is Satan, but in some mythologies there are like little devilings.
Right. And then you're right, there's different, like in some ways you can say that Satan and Lucifer and Beelzebub and stuff are they're either the same person or they're different people. Spawn, Jack Nicholson, and Witches of Eastwick.
I feel like if I had seen Witches of Eastwick, I'd be with you here. So I have to give it to Jack Nicholson.
So yeah,
just imagining him as the devil.
In earnest, probably his devil, but horror and everything aside, the Robot Devil's fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, so after Devil is Ghost.
Patrick Swayze got more votes than I would expect here.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to go with Beetlejuice. Still, I know that was my personal pick.
I would also say Beetlejuice because it's a brilliant turn on the head of the Ghostbuster thing.
Right.
Yeah. I'm gonna agree with that.
Okay. And then Zombie. Ed from Shaun of the Dead got a lot of votes.
I think that might be a case where you have to say, got the most votes. Everyone, independent of each other, chose this.
Yeah.
Plus, when you think zombie, you do not think of an individual zombie. So that might be the one thing he has going for him.
Right. So individual zombies, I would choose probably Ed. I love that movie.
It's a great movie.
That's one of those. That movie actually was like a slow burner. People weren't into it when it first came out. They were into serious zombies when it first came out.
Right.
And then Hot Fuzz was a success. And so then they were like, "Oh, Shaun of the Dead. Oh, this actually is a good movie." But I remember liking it from the start.
Yeah. It was very British too, so a lot of Americans didn't get behind it as well.
Yeah. So individual Ed from Shaun of the Dead, but type of zombie, I think I prefer rage zombies because they're scarier.
Oh yeah. Once I saw a zombie running for the first time, I was like, "Oh, that's new."
Yeah.
Oh god.
That was definitely part of why Left 4 Dead became such a thing. It was "Oh, this is a 28 weeks later zombie, not a 28 days later zombie, not a..."
Right.
I know they're both movies, but at the time it would have been days, not weeks.
Bookending here, I have to add, I know I counted Twin Rova Zelda out of it, but I think the zombies from Zelda have to be included here. The ones that scare you and shriek when you get close to them.
They're creepy.
That was very scary as a child.
Zombies zombies one of those things where it technically takes many, many, many forms. There's the literal voodoo zombie to the fucking undead.
I feel like these zombies from Zelda are closer to mummies. They should be counted for the mummy character.
They look like mummies.
Not to mention there are mummy versions of those same bad guys.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, that says something.
Well, the Redeads are actually embalmed and everything, and I think the mummies are just the ones that are wrapped up in gauze. So, sorry.
That's okay. Something I forgot to mention is that somebody's secondary answer for scientist was Jeff Goldblum from The Fly. I forgot to. Now I can't. That's a
good one.
Oh, it was your secondary answer.
Oh yeah. Okay. That's why I think it's good.
Oh, but who would you say for Mad Scientist?
Absolute best Mad Scientist. And it can't be the original Dr. Frankenstein, who I think carries the original title here.
Mm-hmm.
The best.
All my favorites are actually comedies, not.
Yeah, counting Mad, I don't think Jeff Goldblum is even a mad scientist. He just fucked up.
Yeah.
He's an innocent bystander.
If you take the definition of a mad scientist literally.
I think it's Farnsworth because he is out of his fucking mind, but he just seems harmless.
Insanity runs in the family.
Yeah, he just seems harmless, so everyone's like, okay.
Yeah, but he's straight up insane. He has multiple death day machines.
Yeah. People die under his watch all the time.
Yep. He talks
shreds.
about to shreds. You say.
Yeah.
He talks about eating hearts as if it's a good thing.
Right.
He helps change the history more than once.
Yeah.
And not always for the better.
And there's that episode where he walks up to the political booth at the Mad Scientist Union. He's like, "Today the mad scientist, tomorrow the mad grad students." He is self-admittedly a mad scientist.
Yes.
I think he counts.
Yep. So I'm going to have to go with him. He had a good number of responses, and it's just a good one in general. Mummy. Imhotep was hands down the most voted.
Yeah, I think that's the winner. Much as I want to fight for the Zelda mummies.
The only qualifier I could come up with is that he doesn't stay in mummy form the whole time. So what mummy stays in mummy form the whole time?
Ramses from Courage the Cowardly Dog.
And he's creepy as fuck.
And I think Ramses really is interesting in that. Like, it took till today for me to think of him because he means so much to so many people, but not a lot of people, until you say it at a party, have shared that childhood experience of being scared of that. And you look at it, there's no reason to be scared of it, but we all were. I think that's so special.
Yeah. Yep. I'm going to say that is the best non-Imhotep answer.
Okay. I would agree. That we can always give it that.
Werewolf.
I wasn't... Everyone had a different answer here. I think that the American Werewolf in London is the winner.
Just watching that scene alone.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's a horror comedy that plays to both very well.
Yeah, it leans into the horror.
It leans into the horror.
Usually a horror comedy is a comedy with horror elements. And I feel like this one is both.
It's literally both types. So yeah, I think that's probably the best answer. It also had the most passes in the group. Apparently not saying you can't say Wolfman means no one knows what to say.
Okay. All right. Well, it's definitely...
But not no one. That's an exaggeration. The most really means 2 instead of 1.
Yeah. That's a lot, though.
And then vampire.
Who was the best vampire?
You have to exclude Dracula.
And there's so many different Draculas, too, you know? There's so many.
Yep.
The mythology's been taken so many different ways.
And I'd say that Buffy the Vampire Slayer and True Blood got the most answers here.
Oh God! Are we really gonna end this by saying True Blood is the winner today?
I
feel like we might have to.
I mean,
Edward Cullen, rap.
If we're sticking to genre, at least trying to be part of the genre, I guess True Blood does have to win due to popular, democratically. I think True Blood wins, but neither of us are familiar with it.
That's true.
And we both put joke answers, basically.
You put the Count, and I put what? Count Chocula. That's right.
So...
This is tough. So who is the best non-Dracula vampire? This is a true good ending question for this video, because this is a tough one. Who's the best vampire that is not Count Dracula?
Yeah. I'm even having a hard time thinking of ones that aren't these answers.
Yeah.
I
know. Let's just go with Nosferatu. The movie that was Dracula in everything but name because of copyright from 1924.
I mean, yeah, it is, and it's also legit. He's creepy as fuck.
Yeah, Max Schreck.
Yeah,
and he's still creepy to this day, which is saying something because the movie's 100 years old.
Right, it's literally a silent film.
Yeah. What year is it? 24? Do I have that right?
What?
Nosferatu?
I don't know.
All right, let's go. Let's see. Okay, there's Bill from True Blood.
Okay.
There's
Dark Shadows.
I've heard that was a good movie.
Okay. Spike from Buffy.
Okay.
Marceline, the Vampire Queen.
That's
I didn't even think of her.
Yeah. I know you like that a lot, too.
Yeah,
Very
Adventure Time has a special place in my nostalgia.
Hmm.
Queen of the Damned. This
I would sign up to be damned.
Yeah. I remember the commercials for this game were... what year did this come out? This came out at
2000s.
Yeah, so this came out with as a preteen, awkward, puberty.
Yeah, she's sexy.
She's sexy, but I don't want... But she's also scary.
So.
Yeah.
Except for the Boys from the Mountains.
Oh, The Lost Boys.
Oh, I never saw it. I know it's good.
It is good. Vampire Chronicles.
What about Interview with the Vampire? That's it. Okay, so Blade. You know what? Give it to Blade.
Yeah. Give it to Blade.
Because you know why? Because Blade has forever had his real pedestal in movie history upstood by Black Panther.
Yep. And from what I've seen, he and the movies are in fact badass and deserve the praise that they get. I just haven't seen them for movies. I've just seen clips. You know what I mean? All right. And then I just real quick, you and some other people added some stuff. You said...
Categories.
Yeah. Mutant. You said The Fly again.
Okay, that's a fair... Yeah. It's not a
let me just see.
mutant, but...
Let me see if somebody else addressed it. Because I think somebody else did come up with something.
Yeah, mutant's a good category.
Yep, nobody... You were the only one who suggested that. And I agree. Like, it is something that should have been part of the list.
Yeah.
Underground, I think, is a little too specific. I would just call that, like, maybe instead of space monsters, there also should have been domestic monsters.
Yeah, well, I mean, Underground has a few. You've got the Tremors, you've got the Triffids, you've got Crab People, you've got, like, the people from Time Machine who live underground, the Morlocks or something. Yeah. There's a bunch. They're really, once you think of, like, guys, that's not a real thing. There's a shitload of monsters that have lived underground forever, and they're coming up. You know, that's actually much bigger as a category than most people think.
I guess so. I really am only familiar with Tremors, which did freak me out.
That's the winner, for sure, Tremors.
And then watching it again, watching at least the sequels again as an adult, they became laughable.
Right.
You know, then you said Water Dwelling.
I think that's a good one.
And you said Cthulhu.
Oh, yeah.
I think you would have to exclude Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yep, because that's the number one.
And then the
MGM.
And then the second most would probably be Jaws.
Jaws might be the winner here, because come on, that's such a real monster.
It created the summer blockbuster.
Yeah.
It made summer movie season.
Right.
And B, even from like my parents and like uncles and aunts talking about it, like it impacted people.
Oh yeah.
It made people not swim that summer. It made people avoid pools. Like it made people afraid to use toilets.
Yeah.
Like it had an impact on people.
That's insane. You know, I think Jaws is the winner, but I think there's that category of water dwellers, besides Creature of the Black Lagoon and Cthulhu and Godzilla, technically.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a bunch you can do there.
And then I was also thinking that like Cthulhu, like as like a Lovecraftian thing, like probably actually falls into a different category as well. It's just like I don't know how else to describe it other than like horror behemoths,
right?
Like which Godzilla and stuff could fall under as well.
Oh yeah.
Insects.
Anything like them. Like
it was a very popular horror subject when like drive-ins first became a thing.
Oh,
like the 40s and 50s.
That's the only reason insects aren't scary is because they're small. If they were any bigger, they'd be terrifying.
Right. And yet it's funny.
Figured that out.
And yet it's funny. Like scientifically, if a bug got that big, it would just die.
Right, because you can't hold all that shit in an exoskeleton.
And actually, the problem is because it wouldn't be able to breathe anymore because of the way they breathe because of exoskeletons.
Interesting. Okay.
It would giant insects and arachnids would suffocate because of the way that their breathing system functions.
Interesting. Okay. All right.
So wait. And yes, they would, like a giant tarantula in the desert would be too heavy to hold itself up.
Oh yeah.
But an immobilized living thing is one thing, but they just straight up would not survive being enormous. They wouldn't even survive to try to walk.
So who did we choose here for the best insect / arachnid?
You said Ungoliant, which I obviously
that might have been pandering to you there, but it's a good one.
But then if you're gonna go with only movies, then Shelob.
Yeah. Who basically is Ungoliant.
She's literally
the child.
She's literally a child of Ungoliant, or a descendant of. So are the giant spiders in Mirkwood in
all
the Hobbit.
Spiders,
Yep. I distinctly remember seeing Return of the King in theaters, and several people behind my family being really uncomfortable with Shelob. And I also distinctly remember hearing what I'm assuming was like an 18 to 20-year-old couple.
Yeah.
Where the guy was freaking out and the girl was like, "Oh, come on."
Really?
Which is very opposite of what is typical. So I remember like watching these sequences, comparing them in my head to the book, but also laughing at that guy getting scolded by his girlfriend for being afraid of a giant spider. And then slasher, which I think falls under psychopath, like somebody doing something for no reason.
Sometimes not.
But Leatherface is a good one. But that's where Michael Myers would fall, which a lot of people said for Psychopath, and that's also where you'd get like Jason and Nightmare on Elm Street.
It's really hard. They're all kind of the same.
They're basically the same. That's the real, like literally, like Jason and Mike Myers are basically exactly the same.
You know, I have to admit, I'm thinking about Hellraiser now for some reason, but I think if you were going to make a Lovecraftian category, where you're not looking at so much as behemoths, but sort of creatures that live in between the dimensions, which counts Cthulhu and it counts the Cenobites from Hellraiser.
See, I guess I only saw the first one, and I guess I wasn't paying full attention. because it's called Hellraiser, I thought that they were like demons from hell.
Basically, but it's like a different idea of hell.
Oh,
than
okay.
we're used to.
Where like it's just like an alternate like
Kinda.
dimension.
Yeah.
Rather than like a okay.
It's like one of those things like right next to us, but it's in a dimension we can't perceive.
Right.
Kind of thing.
Okay. You know what? I'm surprised I didn't come up with like an Army of Darkness answer for like zombie.
Oh yeah, that would have been a good one.
Army of Darkness would have been good. Yeah, I think we did it.
That's it?
I think we did it.
All right. Awesome.
All right.
job.
Well,
what I also think was interesting about Angry Video Game Nerd is that he missed some categories. Like I said, like
Right.
about like insects and arachnids, slashers, underground. There's a few
body
other
horror
tropes.
is
yeah.
it? Like I know a lot of these other things fall into body horror, but like that's a genre in and of itself.
Exactly. So what other categories would you guys think of?
Right. Add categories to the list. Thanks for watching part 2 of our documentation of horror tropes, our listicle, if you will. Don't forget to check out the first video if you haven't already. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to check out Jake's channel, Streetlight Productions. It'll be linked and everything. And we'll see you down in the comments.
Bye, guys.